Right, hello everyone, welcome back to FTRL and welcome back to Brazil for F2, round number 6 of season 11. Joining me tonight for a very soggy looking qualifying session is Pagani. Good evening, mate.
Good afternoon. Yeah, I sort of screamed "oh no" to myself when I saw how wet it was going to be. I mean, if it's a dry race and they're on dry setups, that final straight kink is going to be. Oh, my Max has done what I did.
I mean, you've got a right to laugh because you did that last night, so yeah.
To be fair, you've got a right to laugh as well. You've already done it, so.
Yeah, I suppose mine was a little bit worse because it was actually in a race. So yeah, yeah. So an intermediate condition Brazil. Haven't seen any wet conditions for a little while, so how do we think we're going to get on in this session?
Well, to be honest, I can't remember the last time F2 was wet. I think probably since the last time you hosted F2.
Quite possibly. I did seem to carry that curse, didn't I?
It was quite a nice curse for me, but yeah. We haven't really seen wet conditions this season in any of the divisions in total.
I was going to say, I think the last time we saw it was F1 qualifying at Russia.
It was indeed. And that was very slippery. I can tell you that much for a fact. I don't think we'll be seeing any drifting around Brazil, hopefully.
You'd hope not. Well, we do have a new driver with us tonight, in Mr. Stim in the Renault.
So it's sort of a new old driver, isn't it?
I say it's newish.
He's newer than some of them. Well, I think Brutus B might be your first time lap.
Yep, I believe he is.
And it is 1:18.4. Intermediate conditions are always quite tricky around the long, fast sweeping corners, which Brazil has a lot of. So, yeah. But depending on race conditions, setup-wise, might be quite tricky for this one.
I was going to say there may be some compromised setups in this session. It's currently racing .12 provisionally.
Well, we saw both racing points go fairly well in F1 last night in qualifying. So. Well, I say that, I can't really remember, I wasn't really participating. So.
Well, Co-Andy's in the chat, and as Renault team captain, he's eager to see what Mr. Stim's got. He'll be watching closely. And we've also got Max in the chat, gonna
yeah,
have a beer.
To be fair, it worked alright for me last night, so I wouldn't worry too much just yet. Z3 gone 6/10 quicker than Brutus, so he put it on provisional pole so far. Well, Nexus Legend is at a... Oh, I've just gone flicking through and Rom is backwards. Not entirely sure where that is. Exit of turn 3 maybe?
It's turn 5.
Oh, turn 5, knew there was a reason you were here, it's fine.
It's the only reason I'm here.
Fortunately, Rom got wing damage in that, so I'll be heading back to pit lane. To be fair, luckily he got wing damage and still has all 4 wheels. So. Well, Mr. On the podium has currently just put it on provisional pole. He says he's not feeling too well.
I say, he said he felt under the weather.
I mean, that's not going to stop me taking pace, but still.
He also asked not to have the camera on him, so I'm just going to leave it on him for a few moments.
I'm going to constantly watch him through the race.
And the sister Mercedes of home driver Vitinho has gone into P3.
He did say just before this race, Vitinho, that he does love this track, so I expect to see both Mercedes up there. Can we see Mr. Lee Cole off the back row of the grid for Renault today? I mean, he's hoping he's probably had the worst look in F2. So, keep that front wing today, Lee. Got everything crossed. So, don't let me down.
Academy's round in turn 12. Coming towards the end of the lap. As Legend takes pole.
Only by a tenth and a half. But as we saw last night, times are very close because it is a very short lap. Oh, Cat managed to put the car into P4 and it looks in a lot better condition than the photos we put in the chat earlier of a Mercedes upside down. So, yeah, try and keep it right side up, Cat, and you'll be fine. In theory. Hammer time just jumped Mr. Stim, so they swapped around for 12 and 13. Got hijacked in the chat saying, hope he puts on a good show. Just don't jump the start this time, hijacked, you'll be fine. This week's comms top tip.
Yeah, I'll take note of Pagani. He's a driver of the day winner.
Somehow, yes. I mean, in theory, you should have twice the clout as what I do, because you have two now. So.
Yeah, again, I'm not entirely sure how that happened. we didn't rig those votes in any way, shape or form, I promise.
I mean, I'm claiming that I was nothing to do with it, so. Right. Well, at the moment, Hammer Time has done 4 laps on this set of inters. Obviously, wet weather doesn't degrade the tyres as much, but you still don't want to do too many laps in a row in quali. If I remember rightly, you only get 2 or 3 sets of intermediate tyres for the weekend. So, if it is wet weather in the race, you don't want to use too many in qualifying. I was going to say, the only person who hadn't set a lap who could set a lap was City Posh, but he just put himself up into P5. He's had a couple of good runs lately at City Posh. A couple of incidents as well. Not all his fault, just wrong place, wrong time. So hopefully he can have a clean run today. Hijacked coming out of the last corner, very sideways.
Yeah, it's a bit sideways going into it as well.
I was going to say, clip that AstroTurf grass on the right and yeah, you can get away with it in the dry, not so much in the wet. Improves, but only by half a tenth. Half a tenth. Oh, stays in P8. Oh, Rom and Nexus Cats have jumped themselves both up into P6 and P7 respectively. It is very difficult to judge a wet session. Because obviously some drivers prefer the wet, some drivers hate the wet. So. It does look like there's a few twitchy cars out there. Come on board with the Renault Vito. It's not looking planted at all through that flat downhill left-hander before the last corner.
Aspects run out of fuel.
Nice, that's never good. Well, Lee improves by 7.5 tenths, which moves him up 2 places. It's always heart-wrenching when you improve by that much and move up by so little. Oh, Donzo's retired. Oh, there's been a collision with Nexus Legend. Legend has been given a 5-place group penalty. That could be big. That could be big indeed. He does tend to be the pole sitter in F2, so...
Oh, Cat's just gone into P2.
Cat and onto the podium are very close again. Oh no. Well, Z3 has just usurped the Cat and put it into P3 as Zumpy's teammate goes into P3. So, currently now for a Mio 2-3.
Yep, another strong showing for the Alphas.
They've been very consistent, even with a couple of driver changes in there, so... Hammer time's coming to the line, currently on 19 flat, can he improve? Does indeed, 6.5 tenths, puts him up to P11. I mean, it's very close. I mean, the gap at the front is half a tenth covering the top. Oh, yeah. That's quite feisty, isn't it? I believe Mikey in the second half is just about to start a lap. I've noticed a few of the guys struggling to stop for the pit lane entry. It is very difficult with that curve where there's sort of chicane going into it. Oh, I believe Mikey's just invalidated his lap. Yeah, pit entry, especially in slightly damp conditions, is not something you want. I don't think, I'm not sure if Lee's on a lap, but he has 0 ERS, which is not something that's good.
I think he might have invalidated that one at turn 2. He went deep into one and it gave him a horribly acute angle to take turn 2 out, and I think he cut the corner.
Yeah, that center S to start with is pretty difficult. I mean, I clipped the grass on entry and it was probably the only mistake I made last night, and it cost me at least 1 position, so yeah. Very difficult to get it right. It is it's a large amount of laps around here, it's not...
Big twitch for City Posh coming through 5.
Yeah, I did catch the end of that. I did run the curb, and curbs in wet weather don't go hand in hand.
So unsurprisingly he's backed out of that lap.
I mean, he might have backed out of it to go get change of underwear, but we're not sure. These are unconfirmed reports. Well, Nexus Legend has come back out, so he's still going to try and get pole to minimise the displacement of a 5-place group penalty.
Yeah, so he's going to start this race P6 at best.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, we have seen him have quite an advantage over the field the last couple of races since Stocky left, but starting a few places back, anything can happen.
Yeah, I think he had some issues in qualifying last week as well, but came through to score a P2. Excuse the dog.
Obviously, the dog not a fan of that Ferrari, so. I mean, I've just seen Cat go off track to an F1 2010 time trial line. That's not what we want to see.
Right, City Posh has kept his foot in for this lap, so let's see if he can improve.
Very close at the door. Like, all the way down the field, to be honest.
Does improve, goes P6.
Currently have 1 second covering the top 14 places on the grid. Well, Lee and Zumpy are still in pit lane, so their qualifying session is over. However, Lee has improved and he will not be on the back row. So,
Oh, Nexus
well done,
Legend
Lee.
is currently half a second up. Coming through the second sector.
Well, half a second will give him his usual half-second gap to the field in qualifying.
There he is, 17 flat.
So that 1 second now covers 1 to 10. Cat come line goes P2.
Onto the podium, P3.
Oh, that's going to be feisty.
Just 0.03 of a second behind.
Well, I think Z3 has pulled out of this lap. It doesn't look like he's on full attack, so I can't see him improving. Aspect at the line goes P2.
Don't know, Z3 is still running it in hot lap. But yeah, he's 3.5 seconds off the pace.
Well, Aspect was the man to claim victory last week. Was it? Or am I making that up?
No, Aspect did take victory last week.
And he's going to start from pole position this week. Qualifies P2, but that penalty, the legend, knocks him back down the grid.
Yeah, so it's going to be Aspect and Cat on the front row, with onto the podium and Z3 in third and fourth. Zumpy and Hijacked. Nope. So I'm getting confused now. Zumpy and Legend will be 5th and 6th. Then Hijacked and City Posh Blue on row 4. Vitinho and Brutus Beer will round out the top 10. Then we'll have Hammer Time, Stim, Romelson, Cats, Mikey, Lotus, Lee Cole, Donzo and Max bringing up the rear of the field.
Well, we have Cat starting P2 and Connor starting P3, so dry race, but looks fairly overcast. This could be a feisty opening lap. I mean, F1 last night had a fairly feisty opening lap. So
Yeah, it certainly did. I'm having flashbacks to Mexico.
Oh no, that's not what we want.
I seem to remember Connor and Kat starting quite close together then. I don't think it was directly a result of them being together that the mayhem ensued, but yeah.
Well, let's hope that tonight's lobby actually loads first time and we're not having to restart.
That'd be nice.
I mean, last night was quite freaky, as it would appear that myself and T Smith were the only cars going around, so we just started doing donuts. So that was quite fun.
Well, we've got a formation lap, so that's a positive sign. So Aspect leads them away. Everyone's gone for the soft tyre apart from Nexus Legend.
Well, that surprises me a little bit. I mean, you would expect at least one person to say, oh well, I'll try the opposite and go medium to soft. Does that suggest that there's going to be a bit of rain? I don't know. I mean, in theory, fresh soft tyres should take you at least half of this race, so don't know. But I would definitely have anticipated a couple others going on the opposite strategy.
Well, we've got a very low sun coming through the second sector.
We have indeed. I mean, with on the podium not feeling too well, I hope that sun doesn't give him a headache. Or he might wish he had a visor in real life. But oh, he's been disqualified from the formation lap. So at least he has to drive like 500 meters less. So Z3 just helping him out there. Well, the good news is everybody's pointing the right way at the end of the formation lap. I remember the last time we did Brazil, there was a couple of cars facing the wrong way, but then halfway around the formation lap. So. He's hoping for a clean start. It's a very narrow turn 1, turn 2 complex.
Yeah, well, everyone's in position.
Yeah, indeed. I saw some technical difficulties with the lights last night, and I only have one on my screen tonight, so that's great.
I've got 4 out of 5, and we've got a start. And Cat's had a very good start. He's normally a quick starter, and he is up into P1, going into turn 1. Behind onto the podium's held on to P3.
Oh, we've got a spinner in the background. It's FTRL hammer time.
Legend's up to 5th. He's going to look to attack round the outside of turn 4, but ducks back in. He's been
Oh, Max is round in that Red Bull. Might have had too many beers in qualifying.
Oh, Vitinho, there's a Sauber and a...
Oh. Zumpy's got front wing damage, I know for a fact.
Yeah, I think a Toro Rosso lost some wing as well. That's Donzo, I think.
I'd like to get a decent camera angle, but yeah, Donzo's missing his left end plate.
Oh, Aspect's having a look at Cat down into turn 1. He's got the inside line, and he has the position.
He has run deep at turn 2 though. Cat's looking around the outside.
They're side by side down to turn 4.
Still side by side.
Aspect's held it for now.
Was the Aspect did very well to avoid that auto spin curb on the inside.
Yeah, I think Cat gave him a bit of respect there and gave him some racing room.
I mean, on my screen on the podium is a minute back already, which I'm going to suggest is not right, so I'm not going to go by that at the moment.
No, I can promise you on my screen it says he's 1.8 seconds behind.
Z3's had a... Oh, Ajax had a very bad run through that fast downhill left-hander. Both of them running wide. But yellow flag. What's happening?
Stim's gone round. I'm gonna guess.
It has indeed. It's very late in the corner, so I might suggest that there was some contact involved. Oh. Max picks up our first penalty of the race on lap 3. All of the boys that got damaged still have got pitted, so...
Oh, the top 4 cars are currently as they qualified.
Nexus Cats and... Nexus Cats, Mikey and Lee Fuller, all had fantastic starts, up 6 and 5 places respectively.
Legend having a look at the inside of Z3 at turn 10.
My Delta in front of the podium has calmed down, but he is beginning to fall off the back of the front too.
Yeah, he's over 2 seconds back now.
With DRS being activated this lap, Legend having a look at the outside of Z3. It's possible, very difficult to do around the outside of turn 1. Z3 holds on. Both cars have DRS on the second straight. Legend has to sit in behind. We saw a lot of this to and fro last night in F1 between Dutch and Zach.
Yep. Nexus Cats is running very close behind to his teammate. He's got City Posh in close company too.
A lot of the guys are fairly low on ERS and it's only lap 4, so this place does eat your ERS, so...
Well, we've got a bit of a train forming behind onto the podium now.
It's not the first time that's ever been said, but...
No, and it probably won't be the last time it'll ever be said, but it is a fact. He is the head of a train.
He is, but Z3 is rapidly gaining with DRS open. The podium goes defensive. Z3 going to try it around the outside. Legend just sitting back. It's a much better run, but has nowhere to go coming out of turn 2. Gets checked up. Might give Hijack a run, but he's a bit too far back. He looks for it though. Just that little bit too far back. However, I can't see onto the podium being able to defend like this for the next 30 laps. We know he's good at defending, but yeah, under the weather and 30 lap pressure, there's a lot to ask. But what it has done is brought the guys that were falling a little bit further back, so both racing points are in this now. City Porsche is in this battle as well.
I say it's a very long snake now.
I was going to suggest it might be a bus behind on the podium, but it is definitely a train. You were correct the first time, so you have a lot of carriages on said train. Well, the Z3 had a terrible run through the last corner, which is going to give Legend the run. But they were both catching onto the podium at a rapid rate. Oh, Brutus is trying to go around the outside, hijacked into turn 1, gets the move done. And at the moment, everybody has DRS, so...
Except for onto the podium, Z3's around the outside.
He is indeed. 2 wheels on the curb, but manages... Oh, and he's clipped that inside curb! Oh!
He's got away with one there.
I was going to say, if he spun, we're in for a lot of trouble because of this very long train behind.
Oh, Hijack's dive back up the inside of Brutus. So he retakes that P6.
This train is beginning to get that hungry feeling from performance season 1.
Yeah, Rom Elson's caught up to the back of it now as well, and I can see Mikey and Vitinho closing as well.
I was going to say it's popping off at the moment. Cat in the meantime has fallen 2 seconds behind Aspect, so Aspect pulling away at the front.
Z3's gone deep into turn 1.
So both racing points are side by side at turn 1.
They've switched.
Yeah, but next Cat's had to run deep, which is going to give Brutus the run down the second straight.
Onto the podium's having a look at Z3. He's up the inside at turn 4.
Racing points are side by side. Brutus has to go off track. They're still side by side.
Onto the podium's got Legend up the inside of him at turn 6, turn 7.
Legend on the grass.
Hijack's around the outside.
Oh, squeezing on the curb. It's all tight. Oh. All this battling. Vitinho has overtaken Mikey and is closing on the back of this group. It's just a second now.
Z3's almost broken DRS range onto the podium, but he hasn't quite managed it.
Got Kawandi in the track going choo choo, so he knows what's going on. Oh, Brutus is deep into turn 1.
Cat's up the inside.
The run.
Gets a penalty for his trouble.
It's in trouble when you're in a battle this hard and
Brutus runs very defensive.
Next Cat's going for the switchback. Clips at the inside curb, but the side by side it's been very difficult to do a move around the outside. He's trying it.
He's trying it.
He's trying it.
It's ballsy. It's brave.
He's on the curb. They're still side by side. Brutus holds his line. Brutus holds the position. But that has put both racing points away from Hijacked.
Yep. Now City Posh is up the inside of Cats.
The move done. Zum asking what up with Zumpy. He got damage early on, along with Donzo and Vitinho, I believe.
I think Vitinho got away with the damage. He's just lost the positions from having that slide.
Z3 still hasn't been able to break onto the podium's DRS. So everybody's just sort of pulling on each other along.
Oh, Vitinho's now well and truly on the back of the train.
Nexus Lotus is having a mighty good look at Lee Cole, but Hammer Time after a spin on lap 1 has got right to the back of the pair. Sort of got battles going on up and down the field. Sort of got 2 at the front and sort of 4 at the back that have dropped away. But everywhere else there's a battle involved somewhere, so. Because Mikey is closing in on the back of this train. If Brutus can catch on to the back of Hijacked, we're going to have a train from 3rd down to 12th. But Hijacked is beginning to fall away from Nexus Legend. He has lost DRS. He is 9/10 away, but must have lost it.
He's got City Posh coming at him now. Goes to the outside.
Bit of squeezing. Legends picked up a penalty. City Posh squeezes right back, but Brutus holds it off the curb. Bit of wheel banging. I don't know if Brutus bailed on that, but he wrecked very early.
Oh, he's very wide out of turn 4 as well.
So Mikey just clipped the grass, which has cost him the second that he was working hard to close in. And Hammer Time has got past Nexus Lotus in the background. As Ligo picks up his first penalty of the day. It's a very easy track to get penalties around. On the podium is very close to dropping out that DRS range. It's 1 second exactly. If he doesn't get it, he's going to be under tremendous pressure from Legend. He hasn't got it.
Legend's coming.
Legend has got it. The podium breaks late. Legend's still there on the inside though. Gets the move done, but onto the podium will have DRS coming out of turn 2.
He's got hijacked on the back of him as well.
Legend got DRS from Z3, so they both must have caught Z3 through the open phase.
Oh, hijacked well wide out of 4.
Oh, that's not where you want to be. I say that as Brutus and Rom run even further wide, so yeah. Well, Vitinho has stopped.
Well, the two F2 division admins have been scrapping with one another. Hammer Time ahead of Lee. Now down in 12th and 13th.
I must admit, it's always nice to see a Haas in front of another car. Obviously no bias, but just a little bit. Just a little bit. Oh, on the podium with that charge of hijack has fallen away from Nexus Legend, is just within DRS range. And Nexus Legend has made his way up and looking back as Z3. Brutus picks up a penalty. I mean, at this rate, without checking penalties, I don't know who has a penalty anymore. There's been quite a few pop up.
Leaco's under threat from Nexus Lotus down to turn 4. Lotus up the inside. Job's done. Lee's touched that curb.
Yeah, Lee tried for a switch back, but clipped that inside curb. To ensure with the curbs on F1, some of them are auto or spin, and when you get on them, you cannot stop it. Luckily, he did stop it, so. Zom in the chat with his relentless hashtag Team Banana support. However, what I have noticed is Z3 is catching up on the back of Cat.
Yes, he is.
Rom is past Brutus as Brutus is in pit lane. I mean, in theory, these soft tyres can go to mid-distance in the race, but getting onto some fresher mediums early will definitely give you an undercut, as Vitinho sets fastest lap on a medium tyre.
And he's jumped Brutus in the process.
Okay, Brutus has gone back out on the soft tyre. I mean, as we know, it was only Nexus Legend that started on the medium, so a little bit surprised on that one. As it is fairly easy one stop round here. I mean, we do have Michael in the chat saying hashtag Team Pagani. I mean, I am on comms, so I have a less chance of getting driver of the day today, but you never know.
Cat's in the pits.
On the podium has definitely lost that DRS now, which leaves him running about the hijacked into turn 1. These two have had fairly frequent battles this season, so hopefully it stays clean. Hijack closing up, you're going to have to go to the outside.
There's definitely some rubbing there.
Yeah. Hijack round the outside. Now on the podium round the outside. Oh, Hijack's had a wiggle. Gets himself a penalty for his efforts, but gets passed onto the podium in the process. I mean, it was a ballsy move. The yellow flag, Mr. Stim is out of the race in sector 2. I'm going to guess that that's the auto spin curb.
Could well be.
Len asking if hijacked and on the podium have history. I think onto the podium has history with everyone that's ever raced against him, ever. Probably has like a portfolio of who he's held up and when. I wouldn't be surprised.
He's probably got like a scrapbook. Oh, we've lost Lee as well, so
Oh no.
in the space of, what, 30 seconds, we've lost both Renaults. And that's caused a virtual safety car. And I don't think onto the podium realised it, and he's driven into the back of hijack, got himself a penalty and wing damage.
I think Lee's lost it coming into pit entry. Oh! Hammer Time has done what I did in qualifying and has crashed it coming out of pit lane. He's lost his front wing entirely. So Hammer Time currently has no front wing. And he's just coming out of pit exit. Oh no.
Yeah, interestingly, he's put the hard tyres on. I reckon that when he comes in for that wing repair, I'd be bolting a set of mediums onto that.
Well, Lee has confirmed that he did crash on pit entry. He's on the podium, comes into pit lane. Zommer's now gone hashtag banana split. So.
Right, we're back green flag racing again.
Oh no. I found out why Hammer Time crashed in pit lane. Dropped his vape on his foot. Oh, tell. Oh no. Oh. I mean, I've heard some excuses, but that is up there definitely. Well, after the resulting virtual safety car, Nexus Legend is right on the back of Z3 now, and Z3 has no DRS. So
He's going to
Z3
pit. I'm a little surprised he didn't try that one under the safety car. He's been clocked for speeding.
He has indeed. I'm surprised a lot of these. Wait, I say a lot. Well, Cat has gone on the hard tyre, and Hammer Time wanted to go on the hard tyre. However,
Yeah, the thing is,
Cat
went on that hard tyre before the incident brought out the safety car. So he committed to that one quite early. We've got City Posh on the back of hijacked.
I mean, the Jeff directed pit stop is about lap 20 and 21 for the medium tyre. I'd expect to see most of the soft runners coming in anytime soon, as Aspect does exactly that.
Well,
it's braking nice.
Well, Hammer Time, when he came in for his new wing, has bolted on a set of softs.
He has indeed. But I mean, the boys at the front have done 17 laps on a set of softs.
Yeah, so he's only asking it to do 18 or 19. Doable.
Well, Nexus Legend has picked up a penalty, and I believe that's his second.
That's the second one I've seen, yeah.
So he's in the lead, but all is not said and done yet. He does also pit stop. He will be very quick at the end of the race if he does decide. Well, he will probably decide to go on the soft tyre from here. Oh, Donzo's finally into pit lane. Obviously carries that wing damage a long way into this race. Brutus up the inside of Rom.
Well, it's Rom trying to go around the outside of Brutus. Brutus was ahead.
There you go. They held on to position then. There we go. Well, Z3 since that pit stop is right on the back of Cat now, and Cat on those hard tyres.
But Brutus is going to have to stop again because he's done 2 soft runs.
Yeah.
He's got to put the meat. He's got to put another compounded tyre on, whereas Rom can go to the end.
Oh, City Posh is in. So I think about 18 laps is probably the most you want to take a soft tyre to, but it's exactly halfway. So. I mean, it looked like City Posh had a 5-second stop, but when he came at the pits, the crew just sort of sat and did nothing. Not sure what he picked that up for.
Well, Z3 trying to go round Cat.
I say Cat and Z3. Oh, Cat clipped that auto spin curve and had the lift. Yeah. Z3 is being held up massively here, but it is a fight for position.
Oh,
City Posh and Rom. That's that auto spin curve. Both of them very close together, so I'm wondering if one's lost it and the other one's collected
him. Yeah.
Did happen last night with both Williams, unfortunately. And it has claimed another Williams today.
Well, on the subject of Williams, the sole remaining Williams is under big pressure from Z3 and Hijacked.
Oh! Hijacked in pit entry! Oh! Boys! There's a time and a place for 3 wide, and the pit entry line is not for that. Well, Z3's got the move done around the outside of Cat turn 1. But Cat now has the DRS on Z3. Oh, we've lost Max. What is going on? Cat is back up the inside of Z3. Max has gone at the same corner, so we've lost 3 cars in 2 laps around that corner. Z3's up the inside of Cat. There's contact. Z3's on the grass. Oh, and breathe.
Zumpy's gone.
No, what's happened? What?
It is.
Mikey's
has it claimed
off.
another one?
No! I think so. I think Mikey might have been involved, or he's collected Zumpy because he was well off and he's got front wing damage.
Yeah, I think it's turn 5 again. It's claimed another one.
Turn 5's claimed what? 4 cars in
2 laps.
lap and a half? Well, Legend is finally pit and he's gone onto the soft tyre as Hijacked is trying to get past Cat now. Just don't know where to look.
Well, he's got it done without driving into the pit wall this time. Behind that, Z3's under pressure from Vitinho.
Oh, Cat's coming back at Hijacked.
Yeah, Cat's got the move done. Vitinho ran it outside of the Alpha.
Oh, Hijacked wide. Oh, Mikey's been pinged for speeding in pit lane.
And Vitinho got his move completed. Meanwhile, Legend's pitted onto the soft tyre.
So he has 9 seconds to try and catch Aspect, but he does have 2 penalties. So in reality that's a 15-second gap he has to make up on Aspect. In 15 laps. Not asking much, is it? Second a lap, the end of the race. Well, Hijacked is going to go for round 2 or 3 on Cat. I've lost count already. What's to the outside?
Well, he's got it done before the break. So Cat's into the back of him. And
I don't think there's wing damage.
So I think he's got away with it. Somehow.
Well, Hijack needs to do something to try and defend for turn 3. Goes to the inside. Cat goes back to the inside. However, Cat does have a run. In the background, Nexus Cats has got past Z3. So, ever since Z3's been on the grass, I don't know, he's lost a bit of confidence, or... Oh, but Nexus Cats is through, and Vitinho is on the back of Cat now. Does this allow Hijack to get away a little bit? But But Nexus Cats is closing into the back of this 3-car train, so now we have a 5-car train again, and there's only 13 cars. So yeah, Nexus Legend sets fastest lap with Vitinho. Goes for a move on the outside of Cat. Both of them with DRS, so that Mercedes is very quick in a straight line. Can Cat fight back like he has been doing for the last 4 laps on Hijack? That is the question. Vitinho has DRS, as does Cat. Cat looks to the inside, brakes late, he's back up the inside of Vitinho. Vitinho holds it on the outside, though there's contact! Vitinho's round! Cat's got damage, Nexus Cat... Ooh, Z3's in the wall, Nexus Cat's is round! Oh my word. Boys, it's only one corner.
Now, now on my screen there was a bit of lag or desync there because Vitinho and Cat didn't actually touch on my screen, yet they both went round.
I was on board with Vitinho, so I didn't see that much. But Vitinho has front wing damage. I'm trying to see if Cat does, but yeah, Cat is missing his left end plate. I mean, Brutus is catching him, but Brutus still has to pit. Vitinho pits. Oh, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, if anyone else DNFs that isn't a Haas driver, there'll be a Haas driver in the points, which is good. So, keep it up, boys. I mean, normally the midsection of a race is the bit where it's sort of calm, cool, collected, and not today. What was it, 6 retirements since the start of the pit stops? Oh my word. Well, the front 3 seem fairly happy at the moment. Aspect has a 7-second lead, Legend has a 7-second lead, and Hijack has a 6-second lead. So
I was going to say, those guys in the top 3 positions are just chilling at the moment. Cat with that wing damage now under threat from Brutus.
What was it? Brutus is definitely the quicker car at the moment without that wing damage and the soft tyre, but he does owe us a pit stop again as Cat clips the grass on entry to turn 1 and picks up a penalty through turn 1. I mean, at this rate we might have to...
Cat's in the wall.
Oh, Cat's inside of Brutus. Yeah, at this rate we might have to invite Hijacked and onto the podium into the same party, which I don't really want to do. that might be a little bit awkward. Yeah, Brutus takes P4 from Cat, but what was it? Brutus has done 2 runs on a soft tyre, so he does have to run a medium tyre at some point.
What's that? What point does he do it?
Very strange strategy, but who knows? With everyone crashing out like flies, it might well work.
He goes for another lap.
Well, this is allowing onto the podium to catch rapidly on the back of Cat, and I think everybody in the history of FTRL knows the history that these two have together. So, yeah. I mean, Vitinho's come out in clean space in P9 on fresh set of soft tyres. That's fastest lap. However, he's 15 seconds away from Nexus Lotus.
I'm going to suggest Cat's had a wobble through turn 5 because Connor's just closed right to the back of him.
Oh, Aaron's just tuned in. Aaron, if you want to look back to lap 13ish and watch from there. There you go. Yeah.
I mean, he says it's a cracking race, so it sounds like he's enjoying the coverage he's seen so far. I don't know what he's seen so far, but
I
he's
don't
enjoying
know.
it.
Well, onto the podium, the Cat Part 3762. Cat goes to the outside. There's not much you can really do to defend with that wing damage. I think he's just looking to get to the end. However, Cat got the run through turn 2 with DRS. He's gone back in front of onto the podium. I mean, really, onto the podium wants to get this done quick because Nexus Cats, if these two battle, will close right up on the back of them. And that front wing damage will hurt Cat basically through sector 2, the entirety of it. So it's only going to hold on the podium up, as Nexus Cats has already pulled half a second on the pair. I mean, Brutus has pulled out 5 seconds on Cat since he got past.
So if it carries on like this, Brutus might wait until like the penultimate lap to pit. He might be able to pull almost a pit stop if this battle carries on.
Well, under the podium's got DRS but isn't using it, so I think he wants to try and have a go at the second DRS straight, but Cat
Has let him through.
wants the DRS for the second straight and waits for it. This is a little bit silly, gents, I'm not gonna lie. Under the podium is just in one ERS, he knows what's coming, but getting a little bit silly.
What this is doing in front of the podium is it's giving him video content.
I mean, he only has video content if he's going to actually produce any videos, which, yeah, that doesn't happen, so. It might also be raising his blood pressure, as Nexus Cats is now half a second behind, so they've lost 3 seconds in a lap. I mean, yeah, there's defending the position, there's waiting for DRS line, and then there's just being a little bit silly.
Well, out front, Legend has closed the gaps a little bit to Aspect, and Hijack's dropped off the back of Legend.
Well, on the podium's gone to the outside this time of Cat. Both of them are lifting off to try and get DRS.
And there you go, there's the inevitable crash that...
I was going to say, Nexus Cats came through. I don't know what either of them were expecting there.
I mean, from the on-board I had with Kate, it almost looked like he broke in the middle of the corner.
He did. And Connor lifted. Like, there's playing silly buggers and there's playing silly buggers. There's no need for it. That's just stupid. That take the biscuit. That breaking through a flat corner to try and get DRS.
Cats has dropped it out of turn 9.
Oh, very nearly came back on track in front of Lotus, but managed to brake before coming back on.
That's been a quite profitable lap for Lotus in the McLaren. He's made up 2 positions
On a pair of Cats, yeah.
Mm.
For anybody listening, I did say Cats, nothing else. Well, Vitinho's got past Cat, who's going to have to pit now with no front wing at all. On the podium, he's managed to get through with his front wing intact, so he'll be trying to close down Brutus. But Brutus still owes us that pit stop. But I imagine that the stewards are going to have quite an active night tonight. I said Brutus just almost lost it, and he's in a hot lap, so
yeah, is this
he's trying
lap?
to push. Yeah. I mean, it's been an interesting strategy. It isn't one that I've seen pulled anywhere else, so. He's in. Where will this drop him? On the podium, just gone past the start finish line now, so he'll get past. I think Lotus will get past.
I think Katz is going to get past.
Katz just gone into turn 1 braking zone.
No, I think Bruce is going to get out just in front of Katz.
Well, he's come out on fresh mediums, obviously, because he had to change tyre compound, so he'll be able to push like hell, but he's got 5 seconds to make up one Lotus. Oh, Katz just overtaken Hammer Time for 11th place. Hammer Time picks up a penalty, unfortunately. Just hasn't been his day at the races today. That early spin cost him dearly. Well, I think it's all sort of calmed down now. The closest gap we have on track is the 2 racing points. However, Nexus Cats has fallen out of DRS range, so yeah. Well, I'm going to take this time while it has sort of died off a bit to mention our charity event coming up on the 1st of December.
Of course.
You might have seen it in the chat if you've been watching. We've got Nightbot. We're doing a Group 3 race on GT Sport around the Bathurst circuit, raising money and awareness for Mind, which anything you can do to help with, we just share the link, watch, help Zach with his commentary because he's going to be there by himself for a very long time. Just tune in, have some fun, and help us celebrate the night and try and raise as much money as possible for a great cause. There's my little plug done. To be honest, I might have sort of forgotten until Aaron came in the stream, so. Well, Mikey's having a few little wobbles this lap. I think his tyres aren't the best. He's getting out the way for Nexus Lotus, even though he's ghosted. Not Nexus Lotus, must be Aspect. It is Aspect. Well, Donzo carried wing damage for the first 17 laps. He's currently in P9, so it's been a good comeback. As Mikey picks up a time penalty. But I believe, unless anything happens, it looks like Aspect is going to pick up his 2nd race win in the week. So yeah, 2nd race win in 2 races. I mean, Legend may be the quicker over 1 lap, but Aspect has definitely played himself into this. Yeah. All in all, I think Hijack had a very tough race, but I think he'll be happy to just get a result under his belt because he's had a few early DNFs the last couple of races. I mean, Nexus Lotus has made up 11 places to be in 5th place currently.
Yes, and Donzo's had a good night. He's made up 9.
Also, Donzo's made up 9 and carried wing damage for entirety the first stint. So, been a few good drives out there. Well, Brutus was 4 seconds after his pit stop. It's now down to 1.9. And there is 2 laps to go. I mean, it's not out just yet, but Nexus Lotus have been in this type for 17 laps now compared to 4 for Brutus.
Yeah, they were looking a little bit slidey at the end of the second sector, that McLaren, so...
I believe that may be our only battle to keep our eyes on, so... Nexus Cat is a further 2 seconds back, and Tino's a further 2 seconds back on that, so... Well, since his pit stop, Cat has currently picked up fastest lap, which stops anyone inside the top 10 getting it, so...
Right, I think Brutus is going to have a last lap shot at Nexus Lotus.
I would say he's closed in. Will he get DRS? If he gets DRS, it could well be interesting.
I think that was the line there, he was within the second.
He's got DRS.
He's got it. So this will draw him closer.
Lee asking if he can get inside the driver of the day vote because he managed 13 laps without wing damage.
I mean, it is a new PB for him this season.
Well, Brutus will have the run. Lotus goes to the inside. Not much you can do though. Brutus holds it to the outside, gets the move done. Oh, Lotus is on a wiggle! He did very well to catch that. In the meantime, Nexus Aspect has come through to win the race. Oh, Cat jump Mikey on penalties. So Cat gets the final point.
I think he might get the bonus point for fastest lap with that as well.
He will indeed.
Hijack comes home in third.
And Hijack, yep. On the podium. A lot of battles today, comes on P4. Brutus. A very strange strategy, but manages to claw himself at the P5.
Coutinho jumps Lotus. Yep.
So, Mercedes 4 and 6. Good points for the constructors. Lotus P7, Cat P8. That leaves Donzo to come through to the line in P9. Hijack's quite happy in the chat. I'm pleased he's quite happy because we're going to
I say we're going to have to talk to him now. It's always nice to talk to a happy driver. So yeah.
Who would you like to invite for present commentary over the day vote? I mean, personally, I think it's between Lotus or Donzo.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
I've just had a message from Michael C, an ex-driver, saying if he had a shot every time that I said auto spin curb, he'd be drunk with alcohol poisoning by now. So probably yes. Let's get these board.
Shout out to Coutinho, the only driver not to get a time penalty tonight.
It is a very easy track to get penalties up. So.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Oh.
Cool. Well, I've invited Donzo. I mean, I don't think he's ever been in a podium interview, so I thought it'd be nice to get him involved.
Yeah.
If he hasn't immediately turned his PlayStation off. We shall see.
was gonna say he always gets involved in the stream chats and stuff. So
yeah. Well, we have our 3 people. Yeah. I'll let you crack on, sir.
okay, yeah. So after an incredible race, it's got to be said. We do have a podium interview to do, so we'll start with Nexus Aspect. 2 wins on the bounce for you. You must be delighted.
Yeah. I am.
Yeah, you sound absolutely ecstatic. You inherited the pole position from Legend after his qualifying incident with Donzo. So you've got an okay getaway, but Cat managed to pip you into turn 1, but you returned the favour on him at the start of lap 2, and then that was pretty much it, really, wasn't it? There wasn't too much threat from behind from then on.
No, yeah, as you said, obviously I didn't get the most perfect start. Cat did. He got me in turn 1. Then I saw, like, for the whole first laps that I was clearly quicker than him, so I just waited for a straight, rich and overtake, and then got past him and pulled away, and that was kind of that, really. I was a little worried about Legende throughout the race, because I knew he was obviously quick. But by the end of it, he had 6 seconds of time penalties, and at the very end, his softs kind of went off, so he wasn't really catching, I wasn't really pulling away, so it was just kind of a stalemate there, and I came away with the win, so yeah.
Yeah, I think the middle of that first stint, he found himself right in the middle of a very intense fight, because I think we had about 6 or 7 cars in a train all fighting from like 3rd down. So yeah, he was stuck in the middle of that for a large portion of the first stint. How aware were you of what was going on behind you?
I could see from the very start that I was quicker than Cat, and then me and Cat were pulling away as well. Once I got past Cat, I was able to kind of relax a bit. I had a look at the track map, and I saw that there was quite a fight for 3rd. So I was kind of happy seeing that, because I knew Legende was might be quicker than me, and he was on, in theory, the better strategy. So seeing him caught up in that fight was a little bit of a relief, and yeah, I just kind of controlled it once I got the lead. Not really too stressful or anything.
Well, you've had a pretty solid and consistent opening 6 races. How do you feel about race number 7, which is Singapore next week?
I've never actually done a league race around Singapore, so I don't really know properly what my pace is around there. But I do love the track. I love the flow of it. As a really nice flow, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, whether I do well or not. I'd say that I'd be going for at least a 2nd place. If Legende gets his quality right, I think he'd probably run away with it. So yeah, looking for a podium, and hopefully it goes well.
Well, you've done everything you needed to do tonight and secured yourself another win, so well done, and best of luck for next week.
Thanks.
Well, on to Hijacked. I mean, first things first, you made it around lap 1.
We did survive. The car didn't get ploughed into a wall, so I'm quite happy with that. That being said, there were some very, very close calls. But no, genuinely very happy. It's good to actually do a race where you're not hindered by one issue or another. So no, that was just clean, well, good racing on everyone's part.
It was looking mighty saucy at one time or another. Like Si said, we had like a 7-car train at one point. That was
Yeah, quite a few trains going on. There was a bit of a 3 wide going on as well on the start-finish straight with Cat and I think onto the podium, which was, yeah, that I backed out of very quickly because I could see myself getting closer and closer to the wall. And that was only going badly, but I backed out of that. But no, there was some really good racing, some really close battling. I'm glad that there was a lot of actual. I had to fight for every position. It wasn't just a clean overtake every time, and that's part of the train. Is that the second you overtake someone, that you're on the next DRS straight, and they're right up your gearbox again. So really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
Well, I mean, in that you managed to do onto the podium round the outside, so I'm going to guess that felt quite nice.
Yeah, I mean, no. To be completely honest, I enjoyed that battle, just because it was incredibly close, but I think we were just about giving each other enough space, which was good. That's the race that everyone realistically wants to see. That's the race everyone realistically wants to be in when it's that close. But yeah, we're very closely matched, I think, in terms of pace. So it's nice to see that was a battle that ended well. So fair play on him. That was a good battle.
Well, as I alluded to, we have Singapore next. How do you feel about Singapore?
I'm actually looking forward to it. It could be one of those races that go badly for a few people. It is very easy to have something go wrong with obviously the wars being so close. But I really enjoy driving the track, so one way or another should be interesting at least to watch. And at the end of the day, that's part of it, isn't it? Part of it's the racing, part of it's the watching. So should be an interesting race. There's obviously lots of corners where if you go slightly wrong, it goes very wrong. But that's part of the fun.
Well, congrats on the podium today, and no doubt we'll see you again very soon. And congrats on making it around lap 1.
Thank you. Thank you very much, guys. Cheers. And well done to the Nexus lot as well. They're always extremely competitive, and I see them fly off into the distance, and that's my race done. But no, congratulations to them.
Who's left, Pagani? Have we got 3 or 4 in?
We have the one, the only Donzo left in the chat.
Ah, the legend himself. Right, Donzo, it was a P18 start for you. You've made up 9 positions in the race to come home in P9. I think the only real part of your race I saw was the incident at the start of the second sector on lap 1. Do you just want to talk us through that? Because I think I saw you off on the inside of the grass, or you picked up wing damage off of cars rejoining.
Yeah, I didn't have a good go at quali there. So it was my third stint, and I think I was just trying to avoid people. I was on the outlap, and I was just trying to avoid people. And I thought I was away enough, but Legend came, or Legend as they call him, he came flying round, and before I knew it, I was in the wall. I thought, oh dear, I've messed up there. So I don't know whether I was in his way or not. It just happened so quick, so apologies if I was.
Yeah, so the opening lap of the race, there was an incident with a few cars coming out of turn 7, I think it was. Saw you pick up wing damage. You carried that pretty much for your entire first stint. Do you know what happened there, or was it just a rejoin?
Yeah. Nothing special. It was just a small bit of contact, but I don't think the damage hindered me much. And I thought, well, what do I do? Pit, do 2-stop, or just see. I wasn't quick enough to be worrying too much, so I just held on. I got to about lap 17 and went in for mediums, and I was all right. I was out of the way enough, far enough at the back, and I noticed I was just gaining a position quite regularly. I thought, oh, this is all right. But other people must be having problems. I'll carry on. So yeah, it was all right. I quite liked it. It's all right.
I was going to say there were quite a few issues going on. We saw, I think, four cars retire at turn 5 within the space of 2 laps.
Right. Yes.
So yeah, you'd have benefited quite nicely from that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, you've been sort of on the fringes of the points quite a lot. So to actually finally pick some up must be a nice feeling.
It is. I don't feel I deserved too much for it. I'm not good. I'm not quick enough yet. And I don't know if I'm going to get going. I thought this season I'd move on a bit, but I haven't. I don't get the time to practice, but you know, gradually but sure. I'm steady. I don't tend to have many issues. I don't think I've actually binned it yet. Saying that, it's going to happen next week. But I enjoy it. It's great fun.
I can say sometimes half the battle with league racing is being steady. Sometimes
Absolutely,
just being there at the end, it reaps rewards.
It does. I like Singapore as well, so
Well,
I'm going to predict, I don't know, podium.
oh, excellent! That'd be cracking to see.
My wife's in the room. She's even laughing at that one.
Yeah, I think we picked that one up.
Yeah.
All right, well done tonight, mate.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work and good luck next week.
Thank you very much. Cheers, guys.
Anything you need to add, Pagani, or?
Not really. I'm quite lazy. So, I mean, I've done my plug during the race, so I think we're good on that. I should just plug in tomorrow now. So.
I'll say I'll wrap up and plug then.
Nice.
Yeah, so that finishes off another week of F2 action. I think you'll hopefully all agree that tonight was a crazy race, but thoroughly enjoyable to watch. Hopefully F3 can provide us more of the same tomorrow night. Thursday we've got our performance division, and on Thursday we will have GT Sport, and as Pagani Friday, thank you. And as Pagani alluded to earlier, on Sunday we do have the main event of the week, the charity 4-hour race around Bathurst on the GT Sport. So yeah, please do tune in for that. Donate, comment, just get the Just Giving page link out there, and yeah, help us raise some money for Mind charity. And yeah, join us tomorrow night for F3. Thank you for watching tonight, and we'll see you then.